Welcome to Accessibility Confident Employers, or ACE training. ACE is a project of Sea Change Collab, funded by the Government of Canada. My name is Corey Melanson. I am the ACE Strategy and Learning Lead, and I am a white, queer, cisgender, neurodivergent settler. Woo! A lot in that introduction, but those are some of both my marginalized and dominant social identities that really impact how I am in the world, my ways of being, knowing, and learning. And as a result of both the marginalized and the dominant identities, I'm always on a process of learning and unlearning. So Atlantic Canada, this is where we do our work with ACE, and it is home to rich, diverse, and vibrant Indigenous peoples, including First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. And this includes the traditional and unceded territories of the Mi'kmaq, Wolastoqey, and Passamaquoddy peoples, and ancestral lands of the Beothuk. In addition, First Nations Innu in Labrador, as well as Inuit communities across Labrador. We are all treaty people, and we honor the enduring presence, cultures, and rights of Indigenous peoples across this region. This image shows sort of the traditional cultural and language territories across parts of Atlantic Canada, and it highlights Mi'kmaq, Maliseet, Innu, Inuktitut, different areas. And the overlapping colors show that language and cultural regions are connected, complex, and not limited by current provincial boundaries. So why ACE? Why accessibility confident employers? Well, we know that across Atlantic Canada, more than 1 in 3 people have a disability. In 2022, rates range from about a low of 30% in PEI to 40% in Nova Scotia, with a regional average of around 35%. This is from the Canadian Survey on Disability, and it is done every 5 years. The next is in 2027. Nearly everyone knows someone with a disability or will experience disability at some point in their lives. So one of our guiding principles is nothing about us without us. So first voice representation. People who identify as deaf, neurodivergent, and or with a disability are involved in the development and implementation of our training and awareness work. As well, we have an advisory committee made up of folks across the region with first voice and who represent organizations involved in this work. And so we want to start the training with really understanding ableism and its impacts. Ableism is really unfairly judging people because of their disabilities. Ableist thoughts and actions about or really affect the everyday lives of people with disabilities. And also, ableism affects everyone. Because ableist beliefs can stop us from valuing and learning from all kinds of people, even those without disabilities. It can also make us less caring and more likely to believe stereotypes about disabled people. And ableism is, of course, not just about individual judgment. It shows up in systems, in policies, and everyday interactions. And ableism affects everyone because it shapes what we think is normal or valued. Ableism excludes people with disabilities from activities and opportunities and benefits people without disabilities. It leads to unequal treatment, views disabilities as problems to be solved, leads to judgments about what people can or cannot do, and prevents disabled people from sharing their unique contributions and experiences. As we said, ableism treats disabilities as problems to fix rather than part of human diversity. It limits opportunities and makes it harder for people to share their skills and gifts. But we can stop ableism. It comes from a lack of understanding and action, and working together, we can all stop it. Speaking up and taking action, learning about disabilities and asking what people need, responding with feedback and responding with respect and being open to feedback, and making our communities and spaces more accessible for everyone. Ableism often comes from not knowing, but once we know better, we can do better. So our goal is really empowering employers. ACE empowers employers to break down accessibility barriers and build inclusive workplaces where we all thrive. How do we do this? Through our free resources, flexible, skills-based training with an Atlantic lens, a searchable online accessibility resource hub, and interactive peer-to-peer learning and networking events. And we are not experts. We aim to be as accessible as possible in our work, and we are still learning. We share the why, what, and how of being accessibility confident employers through training and educational resources. Thanks for being part of our training.